Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗀. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down into the charts to take a look at what has been going on most recently with Bitcoin. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗀. Right, with all of that said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what I think is most likely going to happen next here with BTC. Okay, we're going to start things off, guys, just by taking a look at this hourly chart. We're going to have seen this impulsive move to the downside, and we've seen this kind of come completed just down here. And I will just measure this out so you guys get an idea as to what we were looking at if you missed out on any of the latest content. But here you can see that we've just gone down, wicking into the 618, just taking out that area. So the minimum threshold for that fifth wave has now been met. But we could still see some volatility. So I thought I'd just go through what I think is likely to happen here over the next kind of couple of days, over the weekend, going into Monday, and then obviously what I think is going to happen afterwards, obviously. Okay, so now we've obviously have completed this move, this wick down here. That being completed basically does mean that we don't have to go down lower, but I do anticipate us pulling back a little bit. So obviously, with this chart, there's a few areas of interest, specifically around support levels. And I think most of these are fair game over the weekend. So we could see some kind of volatility in this area, and I don't think it's actually going to affect us too much long term. Okay, here we can see the stochastic RSI wipe down into the oversold area, and it's just moving on out here. Not a lot of volume though. If we do actually throw the volume on here, you can see the kind of volume that was happening here with the fifth wave, and you can see this pulling all the way down into pretty much nothing. It's a little bit of selling pressure that brought us down in this move here, but for the most part, we aren't actually actively looking in a bad position. Now, obviously, pushing this price up and dropping this volume down, it leads us into a position where we can acknowledge that there's more likely going to be more downside, right? Because we're moving that stochastic RSI up without actually doing too much price discovery, and the volumes are low. This is basically telling us that the sentiment right now for Bitcoin is effectively more bearish than bullish, right? A lot of people don't necessarily want to get too involved, just in case there's downside still to come. So what I will do now is I'll show you these wave counts that we actually have running from this low point. We have our A, our B, and our C move, and there's nothing special about that. I think that pretty much actually hits us right where we'd expect to be. Let me just make sure I get that on the nose, which looks like I did. And then we move that over here. We can see that we come against this 786, and we got the reversal. You would normally expect this to be a 1-to-1 ratio, but it doesn't always work. And in this case, the Fibonacci relationship with the 786 actually was enough of a resistance block, along with this previous area of support come resistance. So that's just holding up and was a natural turning point. So there's our ABC move to the upside. If we remove that, we can also acknowledge that we're actually currently tracking an A wave here, a B wave up, and then we'll expect to pull back down. And again, we can go down lower than this fifth wave. It's perfectly fine. And this is just the volatility that I'm expecting to kind of witness here. Obviously, we should acknowledge, if I actually just remove that for a second, we should also acknowledge that we are holding up on the support level here. We haven't closed below it. Okay, and this is the key level that we've spoken about in the previous video, which, if I zoom on out, is the head and shoulder pattern. So the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And effectively, if I just remove those, what we actually have is the neckline. Okay, we broke the neckline, we come up, we actually push through it, and this is now a test of the neckline to see if we can now turn it into a support line, which I think we are. We're doing that really well, being the fact that we're oversold on our daily chart here. We are, if I come up into our weekly, just coming out of the oversold area. The monthly is in the oversold area. The 8-hourly is oversold. The 4-hourly is just coming out of the oversold. Okay, so we're in actually a pretty reasonable, let me just remove those. We're in a pretty reasonable spot here for Bitcoin, right? There's nothing actually here that I would be overly too concerned with. We are actually, just going to be naturally kind of experiencing some volatility. Now, if I actually take this measurement and we run this up, and we would just put this over to approximately where we are, although it could actually go higher. And I'll run through a scenario in a second on there. If this is our high point, when we can come down just to where that fifth wave was already, and that would be our C wave area, so not going lower than the low that we already had yesterday. The other thing that I've just noticed that I think is highly probable is that actually this just becomes a flat correction. We move all the way up to the previous high or origin, we come back down and we test this area again. Okay, and this will basically then confirm that this is a really strong area of support. So as we push up here, this wouldn't be, I wouldn't be too surprised if actually we start to pull back into that low range of 39,650 and we turn that into a support line. But again, it is possible that we could come down a little bit lower than where we were before, and I'm not concerned about that. I think that's actually perfectly fine considering everything that's kind of gone on right now. All we're doing is testing a really good strong area of support. Now, going down lower, however, and there are a couple of things I want to be kind of crystal clear on. This particular area I would be concerned with. Okay, if we were to lose support at 38,188, that would lead me into a place where some lower lows are more probable. Okay, and obviously we did play a game of probability here, and we think what is more likely to happen. So if we were to lose 38,188, then from the chart perspective, that puts us into a position where we might actually start to see much further downside. So if we actually shoot on back, let me bring this up into an 8-hourly view here. The importance of this level is that this is an area that was previously resistance. Okay, there's also, a couple of areas up here as well, 38,900 and 38,700. They're all very valid points. This is the one that has the most amount of congestion on it. Also, 37,900. So all in this area is where, I'm wanting to hold. Don't want to go lower than this. Because if we do drop down, too far here, then we are talking about going to $35,000, and maybe even all the way back down to these low ranges here. And once you kind of lose those, there is only really one way you're going, and it's going to basically then play out towards $25,000 in my opinion. Well, actually more 26 to 27,000. But I don't think right now that's probable. Okay, so as I was kind of alluding to here, what we do have on these larger time frames, right? So our hourly needs a correction now, which is fine. I thought this was going to be the case. We'll just kind of sideways trade around here over the weekend. The 8-hour, the 4-hourly will do the same. It'll just kind of bounce around a bit. It's not too much of a concern. The 8-hourly is exactly where we want it. The daily is exactly where we want it now. The weekly is exactly where we want it, and the monthly is where we want it. So for the most part, we should just be trading sideways, trying to just get everything lined up, ready for another surge upwards. What we shouldn't be looking for is any major moves to the downside. I don't think the data is really suggesting that. And I mean, we take a look at Glassnode, we can take a look at everything that's going on here, everything from what's going on with exchanges, wallets, and all that kind of stuff, and also what's going on in terms of these candle patterns, the stochastic RSI, the momentum behind the price, and actually everything here is actually telling us that we are more than likely going to see some volatility inside this kind of range down here, which is perfectly fine. And that we are eventually actually going to be moving up in a really significant way over the next week. I would have thought, I think it's going to be as quick as that we're going to start to see some recovery continue here. Don't expect anything too, out of the box amazing right away. It will take a little bit of time. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just zoom on out here, and you can also see that on a larger time frame, all of this move here constitutes an A wave up. We have a B wave down with a big ABC again coming in line with our 5th wave low. And this then means that if we have a 1-to-1 ratio with our A and our C wave, that takes Bitcoin out here to $54,900, right? So that's kind of the play that we're looking for. But obviously it took quite some time, if I grab hold of my date range, to run from our very bottom area through to that high point. It was, it's not even a date range. Let me actually grab the date range, which will be the right tool for the job. If we take that to over to here, we can see it was a total of 17 days. So again, you could be looking, if I just put that roughly over here, and time's always the hardest thing to gauge. You're talking March, probably halfway through March by the time it reaches those kind of levels. And again, from there, you've got a couple of options, right? We were either going to go up impulsive by going into a new all-time high territory, or what we'll find is this is our ABC move, and then we end up with an ABC down, shaking people out again before another surge to the upside. And what I really want to do is I do want to see this go impulsive, and I want to see inside here 5 waves. I want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves. and again, much higher. And this is because we have a very similar kind of pattern here. We have 5 waves inside here, 3 here. If we have 5 waves going up now, then 3, then 5, that actually takes us into some pretty good positions at a later date. So that's kind of what I want to see from Bitcoin. Obviously, it's too soon to really know for sure. So we do focus in on what is going on with these movements right now, but it's doing exactly what I would expect it to do at this point. Just sideways trading across here. Do expect some volatility, but I don't expect it to drop down lower than 38,188. That would be my kind of low point on that. I would not anticipate it going down lower than that. And for the most part, we should just then be waiting for that next kind of catalyst to see this one move significantly to the upside. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found it useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all of this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.